and welcome to our April episode of County Conversations. On this month's episode, we would like to talk to you about Casa, as well as fill you in on some upcoming events in Greene County. To begin today's episode, I would like to introduce Aaron Hauser, who will be speaking to you about the court-appointed special advocates.
Thank you for the introduction, Commissioner Belding, and please give me the opportunity to thank you and Commissioner McClure and Commissioner Zimmerman for all of the support that you have shown to Casa of Greene County and our volunteer advocates. And you are correct, I am here today to speak about the mission of Casa, what we have accomplished, what we are planning for the future, and what we have planned for the month of April, which is nationally recognized as Child Abuse Prevention Month. Casa began back in 2017 in Greene County when a group of concerned citizens got together and started to consider the benefits of what the Casa program could bring to the local child welfare system. They put plans in place and started the training process. And then in 2018, we were granted our 501c3 status, and we started taking cases inside the Greene County juvenile court system. That initial group of volunteers has now grown to 16 child advocates who have gone through extensive training to be sworn in. They've gone through extensive background checks. They have to complete ongoing continuing education every year. And to date, those advocates have been appointed to 71 children within the Greene County juvenile court system. Those same advocates have given over $150,000 in volunteer hours in that amount of time as well. The mission of Casa is to provide difficult cases within that child welfare system with an added layer of protection. And that added layer of protection is the appointment and follow-through of Casa's volunteer advocates. They monitor the child's placement after they've been removed from their home of origin. They monitor the child's schooling, progress, deficiencies. They build a relationship with the child, which is their primary focus, so that they can get to know the child and also be a mentor and a friend to that child in a system that has a great amount of turnover. It's very possible that a child's Casa advocate could be the only person that is a constant throughout a 2 or 3 year dependency case. Casa advocates track the appointed child's medical and mental health appointments and records. And after we have accumulated all of that information, and this is about every 3 months or so, we generate a Casa court report that is given to the court and all of the parties to the case that takes the 50 or 60 pages of information that we have collected over the last 3 months and boils it down to 5 or 6 pages for the court's digestion. That report also includes Casa's recommendations as to what would be in the best interests of the child moving forward. And that can be anything from to remain in placement, to change their placement, to reevaluate their needs in school, to reevaluate medical or mental health needs, medication management. There's a great deal that goes into these dependency cases in our child welfare system. And the people who work in that system, whether they are Casa advocates or CYS caseworkers, or in fact all of Children and Youth Services, all of the service providers, I can't tell you how much those people are worth. The emotional strain that they take on, whether it's through their job or, in Casa's case, through their decision to volunteer. But the emotional strain that they take on is, for some people, it's overwhelming. That adds to the high turnover in that industry because, you are dealing with some of the most tragic cases of abuse and neglect that you can possibly imagine. But Casa is there to provide that extra layer of protection so that those most serious cases, which are the ones that Casa is appointed to, those most serious cases can have that benefit of another set of eyes, not necessarily from the point of view of CYS or a service provider or a parent or a foster parent, but to have that point of view from just an ordinary person who wanted to help. And that point of view helps us shape those recommendations so that we can then advise the court as to what we feel would be in the best interests of the child. Obviously, we don't always get our way. Nobody does in court. Anybody who's been in court knows that's true. But I truly believe that report and those recommendations coming from a member of the community who doesn't have any stake in that case other than wanting to do good on the child's behalf, I truly believe that makes a difference, and that the court has come to trust Casa as a neutral party who is there specifically for the child's needs and no one else. We have taken our local Casa program and expanded on that primary mission to a secondary mission of the betterment of all Greene County children. It's not a secret. We have so many blessings in Greene County, but on the other side of the coin, there are a few problems too, and I don't think anybody's going to say that there aren't. We have a higher than average rate of family poverty, and we have a higher than average rate of substantiated reports of child abuse. That problem exists. Casa provides that extra little bit of help to give the court the most comprehensive view of the cases that we work on. So our secondary mission is the betterment of all Greene County children. And our thought process there is that if we can help the community as a whole, and not just the children we're appointed to, but if we can help the community as a whole, we have the opportunity to lower the number of cases of substantiated child abuse in our area. And by doing that, the service providers and CYS and the child welfare system as a whole will have more resources to focus on the cases that are left standing. In that vein of thought, we take on projects that we believe will help decrease those numbers of dependent children. In 2021, we received a small grant from Greene County United Way, and we were able to use some unused office space at the Casa office. We created the Casa Kids Corner. We painted the hideous walls that were in there. We painted them a very nice shade of blue. We furnished the room with comfortable couches and chairs. One half of the room is dedicated to kids' toys and a video game system and everything necessary to make that room a comfortable environment. We have offered that room, and it has been accepted and used for this purpose, but we offered that room to the courts, to CYS, to the guardian ad litems, and obviously to Casa advocates and the children they serve. And that room now serves as neutral territory. If a child or a family member has bad feelings or anything about CYS, hey, let's use the Casa Kids Corner to do this. That way it's neutral ground. We can just talk things out. If we find ourselves stuck in a long court hearing with small kids, there's really not, imagine being a 3 or a 4-year-old looking down at a 4-hour-long court hearing for dependency. While I love the courthouse and its history, that's an awful place for a child to be stuck. So that room has also served as neutral territory where everyone is comfortable, that the children are able to go over there and wait out a court hearing with some CYS supervision, and they get to play with all the toys. And because of the generosity of this community, which never ceases to amaze me, and the fact that room is just constantly filled with new toys and new puzzles and new books and everything else. Every kid that comes over there, whether it be to wait out a court hearing or because of a family meeting or anything like that, every child gets to leave with a toy, book, stuffed animal of their choice. and the community is always ready to step in and refill those shelves, which we appreciate. In 2020, we started the Children's Winter Gear Distribution with Loved Again Charities, and I know that the commissioners have stopped down at that, and we appreciate you coming to see us when we're all decorated for the event. But the idea behind that event was basically turn the Casa office into a Macy's or a JCPenney to give children who wouldn't have that opportunity, and maybe they found themselves in a position where, they were getting hand-me-downs, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with hand-me-downs. My boys are finding that out right now. But hand-me-downs don't always fit. They don't always work. They're not always in the best shape. The community came forward and donated the items that we were thinking about handing out that first year, and we did. We set the office up like a department store, and the kids came in the front door. They get their shopping bag. They get to take as much time as they need to go through the entire office. We set it up so you kind of have to go through it in a circle fashion. Coats, boots, gloves, hats, scarves, t-shirts, hoodies, blankets, anything and everything you can think of to clothe a kid from top of his head to the bottom of his feet. And that first year, and you remember it was 2020, so we all know the challenges we had back in 2020, but that first year we outfitted 96 children. In the second year, we grew a little bit and outfitted 147 children. Just this last year, we were able to expand even a little bit further. I think both through word of mouth that the program was viable and a good piece of the community, both through that and I honestly believe increased need given the economy and the problems that our area is facing. This past December, we outfitted 243 children from head to toe. We're now up to over 500 children when you consider that we leave that display open for a couple of months after that event so that any child that comes into CYS or couldn't make the event, they're more than welcome to set up an appointment, and we bring them over and do the whole thing with them and get them outfitted. So we're up over 500 children in 3 years that have been outfitted, and that's a blessing that is due to the donors that just brought in bags of new and gently used coats and boots and everything that these kids needed. But when you come back and recenter to, okay, is that part of the mission? We believe, yes, it's part of the mission. Doing that project, and I think we're pretty conservative with this, but doing that project gives us the ability to help a family save conservatively about $100 a kid to outfit them completely. So when families with 5 or 6 children were coming in to get everything they needed, that event took a $500 or $600 burden off of that family. Our hope is that through that process, we can start to see those dependency numbers come down. Obviously, poverty and the stress that poverty causes is one of the factors that can lead to dependency issues. And then in 2021, we also started our Greene County Dodgeball Tournament. That event has become the capstone of April's Child Abuse Prevention Month. So hopefully over the last few years, your listeners will have seen the blue pinwheels on the lawn of the courthouse. I have to make an admission. Last year's pinwheels were purple, but we chalked that up to the supply chain issues everybody was having. We got close. But this year we got blue. Those pinwheels are not thrown out there necessarily as just, buy 1,000 of them. Those pinwheels are placed as a representation of all of the children that Greene County CYS came in contact with and provided services for in the previous 12 months. When you drive past that display this year, I hope that that's what sticks in your head is each of those pinwheels is representing one of our local kids who needed the services that the child welfare system provides. But the child welfare system, CASA included in that, the child welfare system, our mission is to reunite families when possible and when safe. And I really think that's the legacy of the people who are doing this kind of work, is that we put families back together when we can. So the month of April, Child Abuse Prevention Month. We've got the pinwheels on the courthouse lawn. You'll see, you're going to see a lot of webinars and information given out online to try to make people aware of the problems that are faced, what they could do to help out if they're so inclined. And then on April 29th, here's our third annual Greene County Dodgeball Tournament. This year, we're going to have 16 community teams battling in a double elimination tournament bracket so that they can ultimately win the Casa Cup and hold that cup for a year. This is a huge fundraiser for Casa. It provides a good portion of the operational funds that Casa needs to keep going. But we also designed it, again, as a family-friendly community event. This is not just a fundraiser. If you've never been there, you got to check this out online or please come see it in person. But we do these huge raffles, drones, and TVs, and trying to think all the stuff that goes into them. And the idea is get this stuff through the help of our sponsors, who have been amazing to us, but move some of these items to families that can't necessarily drop that kind of money on that expense at this time. And, when you see, a kid run up because he won the drone, it's like, he doesn't know what to do with the thing yet. That event this year, who knows who's going to win it. We have a ton of teams already lined up, and that bracket's forming fast. So it'll be a good time, I have no doubt. But I truly appreciate the time that you've given to this. I hope that, when you say Child Abuse Prevention Month, it's, it's not a subject that people want to think about. And I absolutely understand that. I work in this field, and when I go home at night, that's not what I want to think about. But it is a real issue. It is a real problem. It is a real problem in our area. Pretending that it doesn't exist does not make it go away. But I'm here to say, and I know that the commissioners will back me up on this, we can do better at this. We have the people in place. We, in Greene County, I'm not a county employee. I'm an employee of Casa of Greene County, completely independent of the system. And I am here to say we have an amazing children and youth services locally. There are people who put themselves out there, put themselves on the line to help families. It's not a job for them. It really is something they believe in. We have a wonderful child welfare system. And I think that Casa is proud to be a part of that system. We're proud to help. Most importantly, we are proud of the work we do to protect children. So I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you about not only Casa, but Child Abuse Prevention Month. And again, I have to put the plug in. Please accept my invitation to attend the third annual Greene County Dodgeball Tournament on April 29th at the EQT Rec Center. Check Casa out online at greenecountycasa.org and also at facebook.com/Greene County Casa. You'll get all the info about the dodgeball tournament. You get all the info about Child Abuse Prevention Month. And I think you'll become a supporter pretty quick when you see what we're able to accomplish with the resources that we have at our disposal. So again, I thank you for your time and thank everybody for listening.
Hi, this is Commissioner Blair Zimmerman, and I'm going to change speeds now. And for now, I'd like to tell you about some fun events coming to our area this month. First of all, we'll start with the Furry Friends 5K to benefit the Greene County Humane Society. It's set to happen on April 2nd at Waynesburg University, and registration begins at noon. Next is Fly or Drive to Greene County Airport on Saturday, April 8th for pancake breakfast, sponsored by SOAR of Greene County. It is serving breakfast, rain or shine, from 8 a.m. to noon. Well, this one looks like a fun one. There will be a helicopter egg drop on Saturday, April 8th at the Greene County Airport beginning at 11 a.m. Don't stand under those eggs. Next are the blacksmiths from the tri-state area will convene for the Hammer Inn Festival in Greene County on April 15th, beginning at 9 a.m. at the W.A. Young and Sons Foundry and Machine Shop located in Rice's Landing. If you've never been there, you need to go. It's historic, and it's just a great historic place to see and a great event. Last, there will be a pop culture trivia night at the Denny House on April 29th, starting at 6 p.m. Proceeds will be donated to the winner's choice of local charities. And that's all I have for you. And for this session, we will close with our Commissioner, Betsy McClure.
Thank you, Blair. I am Commissioner Betsy McClure, and I want to thank the Executive Director of CASA, Aaron Hauser, for being with us today and telling us about the mission of CASA. And I also want to remind you that April 29th is the CASA Dodgeball Tournament, and it starts at 3 o'clock, and it's at the EQT Rec Center. If you're not participating, you may want to go and watch and make sure you can dodge all those dodgeballs that will be coming at you. This concludes this month's episode of County Conversations, and as always, we welcome your feedback and suggestions for future topics. Please reach out on social media with input at any time. Watch for our May episode on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you for listening.